Hello, Blackhawks Nation. Welcome to the Blackhawks Daily, your favorite recap of the daily buzz around your Chicago Blackhawks. I'm your host, PJ. Thank you for joining all of us and uplifting and supporting the Hawks as they head into their centennial season. Coming on board with this community really means a lot to us. Lots to cover with our usual top 4 topics of the day. So let's dive in and have a look around good old Blackhawks world, shall we? And a little extra pep in the step. I'm recording this Sunday. You'll see this on Monday, but Bears won. Woohoo! So that's always fun. All right, but we're talking about the Hawks, and let's talk about. And we've talked a lot about the youngsters. Let's talk a little bit about the older guys, right? The seasoned, the well-seasoned players. Let's talk about why Jason Dickinson's line might be the secret sauce to Jeff Blashill's game plan this season. We all know that Dickinson doesn't take shifts off. He's a motor, right? Everything he does on the ice, his positioning, his angles, his tempo, it's all intentional. He processes the game like a coach already, and now he's got a coach in Jeff Blashill who's wired basically the same way. So let's break down how that connection is already shaping up, it's already shaping camp, and why Dickinson's line could be a difference maker this season. So Dickinson said it best himself. After talking to Blashill this offseason, he knew right away that this was a coach that he could thrive under. Why? Because Blashill's all about the details. And that's the core of Dickinson's game. Blashill sees Dickinson as a perfect third-line, shut-down center, a guy who knows who he is, knows how to impact the game without needing flashy numbers, and more importantly, understands how to frustrate opposing teams' top lines. Blashill has even compared him to Michael Pekka, and if you're a 2000s hockey fan, that's a huge compliment. To start camp, Dickinson's been centering Landon Slaggert and Ilya Mikheyev, and if that line sticks, you better believe they're going to be leaned on heavily. This isn't just a shutdown trio. Blashill made it clear he wants them to defend by attacking. He wants this line to make elite players spend time in their own zone. Because when you frustrate a star forward, when you take away their legs and mess up their rhythm, that's how you win matchups over 60 minutes. All 3 guys have done this before. Dickinson's been a rock down the middle for 2 years here. Mikheyev is one of the Blackhawks' most consistent two-way players. And Slaggert, we love him. He's your Swiss Army knife. He's got the motor and the hockey IQ to be a glue guy anywhere in the lineup. Mikheyev even said it himself. All 3 guys have speed and compete. You just can't say we're the shutdown line. Everyone's got to work hard. That's what wins in this league, and Blashill loves to hear that kind of talk, right? Mikheyev even pointed to Florida, and he's right. Everyone there bought in, and look where it got him. So this is what Blashill's trying to build: a team culture that's rooted in effort, structure, and detail. Saturday's practice showed us exactly that. Or actually, this past 2 days' practices have showed us that. The coaching staff drilled the team on defensive zone coverage, escaping pressure, puck retrievals, everything that builds a foundation for sustained success. And Blashill's line is the model. If they execute, Bedard and Nazar get cleaner matchups, fewer defensive zone starts, and more opportunities to cook offensively. Slaggert said it best. It starts with our work, our detail, hunting pucks, frustrating other teams' top lines. That's the identity. So what does this mean for the youth? Here's a sneaky big takeaway from Dickinson's comments. This coaching approach isn't just about now. It's about laying a foundation for the future. Dickinson said this gives you a 10-year window of a great team, and he's absolutely right. Bedard's 20. Renzel's 21, Vlasic's still only 24. If those guys now grow up in a system that emphasizes habits, work ethic, and compete level every night, they're not just going to be great players, they're going to be winners. So, if you're wondering why Blashill starting camp by locking in on that Dickinson line, well, now you know. It's more than just matchups. It's about setting a tone, creating a blueprint, and making sure this team takes the next step, not just this season, but for years to come. So, let me know in the comments. Do you think Dickinson's line will be the Hawks' secret weapon? And what do you want to see from Slaggert and Mikheyev this year? Pretty interesting stuff. And we know Blashill's setting the tone. He's already done it right out of training camp. Day one, he was setting the tone. So this is going to be a fun season to watch for sure. Moving on from there, let's talk about another mentor, so to speak. Let's talk about something that could very quietly become super important to this team and their early season success. Andre Burakovsky might be the playmaker that Connor Bedard needs to get off to a hot start. We know Bedard's ceiling is friggin' sky high, but even elite talent needs someone to help get them the puck out in space. And based on what we saw on day one of training camp, head coach Blashill may already have a plan on how to unlock that next level. On the first day of camp, Blashill had Burakovsky and Ryan Donato skating with Connor Bedard on what looked like a potential top line. This may raise a few eyebrows, but here's what Blashill said about the decision. Burakovsky's really good at bringing cups up through the neutral zone. There's a give-and-go component to his game. Donato's a good scorer, and Connor can do it all. So the thought here is clear. Burakovsky's straight-line speed and puck-carrying ability create space for Bedard to get open. And once Bedard's in space, we all know what happens. Look, Burakovsky isn't new to this. He's played with superstars before, Ovechkin in Washington, McKinnon in Colorado, and more often than not, he's been effective setting them up. He put up 39 assists in 21-22 with the Avalanche, which was his career high. And if not for some unfortunate injuries the last 2 years, he probably would have had a lot more seasons like that. Yes, he's got to stay healthy, obviously. Groin and upper body injuries limited him to 49 games in back-to-back seasons. But when he's upright and he's skating, he moves. And that's what Blashill wants to see in a 2-1-2 system. Size, speed, puck movement up the ice. Most intriguing part here is that Burakovsky gives Bedard the chance to play off the puck. We saw it in the juniors. Bedard doesn't have to be the guy carrying the puck every shift. If Burakovsky drives his own with possession, Bedard can find space and wait for the puck and then unleash that lethal shot we all know he has. So instead of being the quarterback, Bedard becomes the finisher. And when Donato, a 30 goal scorer, last season, and when Donato is that third piece in that line, there's a lot of firepower to start the year. So let's be fair. This isn't a perfect fit. Burakovsky isn't known for his physicality. He's not the guy you expect to win a bunch of board battles. But Blashill emphasized puck pressure and forechecking as non-negotiables in his system. Also, according to analytics from JFresh Hockey, Burakovsky tends to produce his best results when slotted on the third line, not necessarily against top pairings or shutdown units. So if this line doesn't click right away, I'd keep a close eye on younger players like Oliver Moore, Nick Lardis, we love him, pushing up for that top line opportunity. Both have the tools to eventually thrive next to Bedard, especially Lardis, who already has chemistry with Moore and showed real playmaking instincts in the prospect showcase. Bottom line, Burakovsky's here to help Bedard get rolling. He's not a long-term solution on that line, but he might just be the right guy to help number 98 pop off early this season. If he can stay healthy and find his groove in Blashill's system, it could pay off in a big way, not just for him, but for Bedard's confidence as well. So let me know in the comments, do you like this trio of Burakovsky, Bedard, and Donato? Would you see a younger guy like Moore or Lardis up there and help them get a shot sooner? Let me know what you guys think. And moving on from there, now it's Blashill's team, right? The Jeff Blashill era is officially underway here in Chi-Town. Training camp is rolling along, young guns are on the ice, and that reset button has basically been smashed. But here's the truth. Wins and losses this year, they don't really matter. Not really, and here's why. If we're not measuring the season by the standings, we have to hold Blashill accountable in other ways, right? We're not expecting them to be in the playoffs. So what has Blashill done? We've got 3 clear standards that we need to judge his new coaching staff on, starting today. Number 1, player development, especially on defense. And it has to show through. This has to be the top priority, player development, especially on the blue line where this team is flat out young. Outside of Connor Murphy and Alex Vlasic, it's all prospects. Guys like Sam Renzel, Artem Levshinov, Wyatt Kaiser, Kevin Korchinski, Ethan Del Mastro, and Nolan Allen are all fighting for NHL jobs. And guess what? The team is welcoming that. Now, I know, we talked about this too. We got Matt Grzelcyk in, right? Who had 39 assists last season, but he's here on a PTO. Management has already made it clear, if the kids outplay him, he's not making the team. And that's the message. Blashill's job is to back it up with action. Look, inconsistency early is expected. The kids are figuring it out. But if we're seeing Rinzel or Levshinov sent down for long stretches of this year, that's a red flag. These are top-tier picks. They're the guys the rebuild is built around. They should be progressing, not regressing. And it's not just the decor. Up front, Oliver Moore, Colton Dock, Ryan Green, Landon Slaggert, Nick Lardis, Aiden Thompson. They're all going to get chances throughout the season. Whether they stick is up to them, and how they're developed is on Blashill. So by the end of the year, we should be seeing real signs that this next wave is ready. So let's watch that. Standard number 2, play the kids, not just the vets. And this one is biggie. Play the young guys when they've earned it. Davidson wants to see progress, but progress doesn't happen if you're sheltering prospects behind veterans out of trust. We've seen this story before. We don't need to see Dickinson or Lafferty soaking up minutes just because they're comfortable and predictable. If Moore, Slaggert, or Doc are playing better, they need to be on the ice, period. It's not 2017 anymore. The days of rewarding only the reliable 200-foot game is over, especially if it means the kids are watching from the bench. That defeats the entire purpose of the rebuild. Development doesn't just mean practicing well. It means playing the tough minutes, learning on the job, and making mistakes without being glued to the fourth line the next night. Blashill needs to learn that, or he's not the right coach for this phase of the process. Standard number 3, Bedard and Nazar take the leap. They have to, right? And that's the final point. This is non-negotiable. These two players, Bedard and Nazar, need to take the next step towards stardom. We can talk systems, we can talk structure, forechecking all day. But at the end of the day, Blashill's job is to put his stars in a position to dominate, especially Bedard. And yes, he had a 60-point rookie year. But let's be honest, some of that season felt like he was spinning his tires. Not enough support, too much pressure, and he looked human for stretches. That needs to change, especially with everything we've got invested in this kid. Bedard's playing for a future $80 to $90 million extension. And if he's still sitting at 60 points next year, that's a problem, right? He's done all the off work to change it, but Blashill's got to put the system that lets him thrive. And then there's Frank Nazar, who just got a massive 7-year contract after just 56 NHL games. That's a big bet by Davidson. Nazar flashed elite potential in a very small sample size. Now he has to show that he can do it over a full season. If he's falling off, that's another big problem. Blashill's got to get the best out of both of them. That's his job. So no, I'm not judging Blashill by the standings this year. I don't care if the Hawks win 25 games or 35. That's not what matters. I still think we're going to do more than 25 games. That said. But what if these 3 boxes aren't getting checked? Young core developing, prospects are playing, Bedard and Nazar are leveling up. Those are the 3. Then we've got a coaching issue, plain and simple. Let me know down in the comments, what's your biggest expectation of Blashill in year 1? And if you're not already subscribed, get on that, please. Thank you very much. This is going to be a lot of fun this year. Last but not least, we have our hot takes. We only got a couple of them, but we still love them. CBS Rest said, so last week we talked about Kaiser, him signing that contract right at the by the end of the wire, right under the wire. But we lauded Kaiser a lot because the kid's got tons of potential. So CBS Rest said, agree on Kaiser. Fearless defenseman, confident with the puck, moves it quickly, hustles a bit like a young Duncan Keith. Ooh, wouldn't that be nice to have on the ice again? Hard to beat a responsible UMD-trained hockey player. I agree with you there, CBS. Yeah, Kaiser's a real deal. So happy we got him signed. Like, seriously, really happy we got him signed. I think he's going to flourish. I think he's going to have a great career ahead of him. He's got all the tools, so happy that he's on board. Tom Filipiak, 3511, definite repeat offender, says, nowhere to go but up. Why did the Blackhawks even trade for Brossoit? The goaltender, the guy that can't even suit up. Crazy. I hope Bedard performs as promised. It is time to crap or get off the pot. No more excuses. Age, teammates, coaches. If you're cream, rise to the top. And that he and Dave Keith, 7796, had a very respectable repartee with each other, talking about how Brossoit was not traded for. He signed him as a free agent, and he got hurt before camp. So we don't think that Laurent Brossoit, anyone knew about any injuries. I think he did get hurt after he came here. He has just been very unluckily hit with the injury bug. 2 knee surgeries and now a hip. Yeah, he's our favorite ghost payrolee, as I keep saying, right? We've never even seen him in a Hawk sweater, I don't think. But anyway, Tom and Dave, thank you for your contributions, as always, guys. So that's a wrap for today, Blackhawks Nation. If you're new here, please remember to like and subscribe. If you're subscribed, thank you so much for your support and also for sharing about the channel, right? Getting the word out. Really appreciate that. For all of my repeat offenders in the comment section, please keep them coming. Love building this community with you guys. Thank you for checking out the Blackhawks Daily Download every weekday as we celebrate this original 6 team, the best team in hockey, the best fans in all of sports, in the best city in the world. I really appreciate it. I'm PJ. We'll see you next time on the Blackhawks Daily.